Welcome back. I'm joined by Mary Bach. She is a consumer advocate for over 40 years, and we're discussing shrinkflation. You know, you go to the grocery store and you notice you're getting less product and maybe even paying more money. Thank you very much again, Mary, for joining me. We talked about the double whammy, you said. Less product, but still getting charged more. And to me, I would understand, okay, if you have to give less product to keep the price the same, I could understand why that would be a good thing or a reasonable thing. Or if you just have to keep the same amount of product and yet raise the price due to inflation, I appreciate that as well. But both seem strange. Is this, and again, this is just putting this out there, is this a case of maybe manufacturers or product manufacturers taking advantage of a situation and being unreasonable in a situation where we've been conditioned to accept that things are changing because of high inflation?
And Tanya, you and I will never know because we have no access to their books or what goes on in their back room or their marketing decisions. But we know that companies really are grappling with higher costs, all kinds of supply chain issues, and they are shrinking their products in response. They say that ingredients are going up, packaging is costing them more, all of the labor and transportation issues that are out there. And of course, it takes energy to run a manufacturing space, and energy prices have gone up literally everywhere. And so they are raising their prices because they have to cover all of their basic costs, their issues, and how much their costs are going up, we really don't know.
My goodness. And besides food and beverage, because we seem to talk more about grocery store items, those are the items that most Canadians, for example, would access, most people. Where else do we see shrinkflation?
Well, it's literally happening in every aisle of the grocery store. You know, you just mentioned two categories, but when it comes to our household cleaning products, detergents, soap products, all of those kinds of things, we are literally seeing shrinkflation hit every single category, including things like pet food for our animals. Anything that we're buying, the shrinkflation or downsizing is impacting in one way or the other. And in most cases, they're not only taking out, but they are, with inflation, we are seeing rising shelf prices as well.
And how do you see households across North America responding to shrinkflation? Not necessarily politically, but practically. How are consumers responding to this increase of goods, but also a reduced amount of goods?
I think people are cutting back. They are switching brands. They may be, hopefully, paying more attention to the items that they're buying and those quantity statements, as shows like this publicize the fact that it's ongoing and happening. I always say that while it is legal, and all of these actions are totally legal, they are certainly deceptive from the customer's point of view. People are buying more store brands, more so-called generics, as they watch their budgets, because many of us are not making more money. We are just kind of holding steady.
Right. And has there been a case or a time similar to this in history in North America where we have seen this in the last, say, 50, 60 years? Has there been shrinkflation before?
It has happened periodically for small blips of time, but more recently, it has just almost become a pandemic within itself.
Okay, because one question I would like to know is, will the product sizes ever go back? Is this just a temporary, once inflation gets under control and maybe cost of living goes down a little bit, would companies ever be incentivized or feel incentivized to raise the quantities or lower the prices?
In a word, I'm going to guess no. That's something that you and I cannot predict, but history shows us that once they take product out, it stays that way until they take it out again. What are they going to do when there's nothing left to take out? But also, when we see the prices go up, we rarely see them come back down substantially unless it just happens to be a temporary weekly type sale or price reduction that is only for a short period of time.
Right. Okay, well, we're going to pick up this discussion again. We're talking about shrinkflation right when we return in just a few moments.